Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Working over.
Never thought of it.
Oh, it's just everything's going on.
Right.
We will call the meeting to order. Everyone is present this evening except Mayor Pankinen. I am filling in. Tonight's invocation will be given by Carol Still, and Jonathan, if you'll follow up with the pledge after that. Carol?
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Would you please pray with me? Gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight thankful for the many blessings you have poured out upon us. We thank you for this community in which we live and for all of these fine public servants who do your work and do the work of the people. Father, we pray that you will guide them and that you will continue to bless our city and our community. And all this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any way you can send me a
Item 4, consider approval of minutes of the regular commission meeting of January 7, 2020.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Carries 6-0. Item 4.1, present the pet available for adoption at the city animal shelter.
Good evening, I'm Erica. I'm the Adoption and Volunteer Coordinator at Animal Control. Tonight I brought with me Puma. Puma is estimated to be about a year old. She's super sweet, super loving. She loves tummy scratches, and she's one of our cats that we have available for adoption. We are located at 1200 South 10th Street. We are open Monday through Friday from 10 to 6 and Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 3. So come out and adopt you a new little fur baby. She's ready to go home. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2, we'll recognize retiring City of Enid employee Nancy Kodrick.
Thank you.
I want to take this opportunity. Nancy Kodrick has been our court clerk for a long, maybe not 30 years, but she's worked here for 30 years. She's been the court clerk as long as I've been here. So I know you've been court clerk longer than 15 years. And over the years, I have watched Nancy's work ethic. And, you know, it's natural that when you work for an employer that you do the work that they pay you to do. But I noted that the work that Nancy does was very time-consuming. So many times I would see her vehicle in the parking lot. I would see her light on. She was very dedicated to the city, beloved. And I wanted to take this opportunity. We've already had a retirement party, and actually Nancy had her last day. Was it last Friday? Yeah, last Friday. I thought maybe it's already been a week. Time flies. But 30 years is significant. I know that I wanted to make sure that the commission had a chance to say goodbye, and the public. And the job that Nancy does is a very important job, and sometimes you may not even know Nancy, because when you come to pay your fines, Nancy sometimes may be up there, but it's normally Nancy's court clerks that are up there. But if you come to court, Charlie, like you might be coming to court, you would see her up there with the judge. So anyway, I want to take this opportunity and give you a coin, because I know I've already given you a plaque and
Okay.
you know, your gift card and a
Very
note.
nice.
But I think for Nancy, what's exciting is she's going to, in her retirement, she's going to go on a trip soon. So I'll let her tell you about that. But first, I want Carol, who's been her supervisor most of her career, or all of her career, almost all of her career, say a few words.
Well, Nancy is hardworking. She is no nonsense. She does not let anything bother her. She's calm. She knows what she's doing. Has been perfect. And when I came back a couple years ago, I begged her to stay, and she has stayed longer than she wanted to. And I really appreciate it, Nancy. She makes it very easy. Everyone should have an employee like Nancy. And I know that the judge both judges also feel that way. And I'm sure people that come into the courtroom enjoy the fact that it's very calm. She does not get excited. She does not ever lose her temper. She's always professional. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
I just want to take a minute to thank you all. Thank you for the privilege of working for the city of Enid. And I had some wonderful people to work with for me. And I appreciate the city of Enid, what they've done for me, and there's no better place to work. And thank you, Carol, for coming back. And I appreciate all that the council does as well. We're in good hands with their leadership. I appreciate it, and thank you for my honor.
Thank you, Nancy. Next, we have a Legion of Merit Award presentation to Gerald from the National Guard.
Yeah, so I would like to introduce Major General Thompson, who I had the pleasure of serving with and for probably the last couple years of my career. And I will tell you that I learned some lessons from him. I really listened to you, sir. And one of the things I noted is that you're an authentic leader, that you care about people. But I also remember you talked a lot about accountability, and you talked about the trust that the public puts in the National Guard, and how important it was to always do the right thing, and that what we do is more important, and all people are going to know what we say. That's a great lesson for us here at the city, because it's really the same way for us. We can say stuff all day long, but it's what we do measured by. So I wanted to call you up here, sir. I appreciate you taking time to come up here and do this for me, and thank you, sir.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll answer the question for you in case you're wondering. I'm 6'8", so people always want to know how tall is that guy. So 6'8". I got to tell you, it's absolutely a pleasure for me to be here. My nephew used to live in this community 100 years and years and years ago. I used to come up here and play basketball when it was Phillips University. So fond memories of Enid. You know, the thing about the Guard, and I'm glad you're from Vance, aren't you, sir? The thing about the Guard, it's different from our Air Force or our Army is the Guard is a permanent part of our communities. We're a reflection of our communities across the state of Oklahoma. And we don't come for a short time and then come and do a job here and then move and go anywhere else. We're here for generations. And when you look at a formation of soldiers in the Guard, you wonder where those folks come from. Well, they come from all walks of life. And they come from schools and farms and city council. And Colonel Gilbert, you did such a great job balancing this career with the city of Enid and being a stellar officer with the Oklahoma Army National Guard. It's the least that we can do to come up here and recognize you with this medal. The medal that we're presenting, for those of you who aren't familiar with the military very much, is the Legion of Merit. If you look at somebody like me, and I've been at this for 35 plus years, so I'm old by virtue of that, it's the highest medal that I have on my collar. It's usually what we give when someone's retiring, and it doesn't really get much higher than the Legion of Merit. The truth of the matter is we should have had this for Colonel Gilbert before he retired, but it's a long, arduous process that goes through all the way to the Pentagon in order to get it approved and get it back. We didn't get it back in time, so the least that we could do, we were thrilled to come up here and drive 150 miles to spend this 15 minutes with you, because we want to recognize you in front of your peers, and we want to thank the community of Enid for supporting the Guard in the way that it does. So with that, we will publish the order.
For military members, attention to orders. Permanent Order 141-7. United States of America, to all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by the Act of Congress 20 July 1942, has awarded the Legion of Merit to Colonel Gerald R. Gilbert, Oklahoma Army National Guard, for exceptional meritorious service and commitment spanning over 34 years while serving in positions of increased responsibility, culminating as the Garrison Commander for Camp Gruber Training Center, Oklahoma Army National Guard. Colonel Gerald Gilbert's exceptional ability to lead, mentor, and develop soldiers were invaluable to the unit's success and the accomplishment of numerous missions. His expertise and dedication will leave a long-lasting impression on the organization and a standard for all soldiers to emulate. Colonel Gilbert's contributions and dedications are in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the Oklahoma Army National Guard, and the United States Army. By order of the Secretary of the Army, signed, Charles W. Whittington, Jr., Major General, U.S. Army, Director, Army National Guard.
Thank you to the council for giving us a moment. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, I do want to say a few words. I'll keep it brief. Just a few follow-up words. Again, I want to thank you, General, for coming up here. Charlie, it was fun working with you. Phil, you're fantastic. You and Joe Pace, if you're ever looking for a place to go to work, but I don't think they're ever going to let you go from the Guard. I appreciate you taking the time to write that award. I had written that award for some senior leaders before, and I know it takes time and effort, so I thank you for doing that. I really just have to say a few things because you don't get there without all those nice things you said about me. That doesn't happen necessarily just because of me, or it happens because of all the soldiers, the enlisted, the warrants, the officers that helped me from the time I was a private to the time I was fortunate to be promoted to colonel and have that exciting experience at Camp Gruber. So I really, really appreciate that. Along the way, my employers were all fantastic employers. Department of Corrections, the state of Oklahoma, Ditch Witch, Charles Machine Works, and for the last 15 years, the city of Enid. Great employers who have lots of guardsmen working there and reservists that many times people don't even know about. They're part-time soldiers, just like I was, and just like you guys are, and sir, you have over 8,000 or so guardsmen in the state, and most of them are part-time soldiers, so they have to work what we say another job too. So that's a part-time thing. So I thank all those employers. I need to thank my family. Couldn't have done it. I appreciate you guys for showing up today. My sister Marilyn and brother-in-law Gary and Doris, my mother-in-law, and David. I appreciate it, and my wife Denise, who you were there for most of the time, so I appreciate it. I couldn't have done it. Really couldn't. So. Anyway, I think I'm sure I'm leaving something out, but I really appreciate it again. You're fantastic. I wish you the best. Even though I'm not officially on the team anymore, I'm still on the team. You'll be glad to know we have guardsmen and reservists active working today that work here at the city of Enid. So, and then we have many, many retired. So, well, sir, when you retire, there's a new AR 670-1. So, anyway, thank you. Thank you.
Item 4 is Advanced Development Authority Quarterly Update. Mike Cooper could not be here this evening, so we're going to skip that and hear from Mike next time he's in town. We're going to move on to Item 6, Administration. 6.1, consider an ordinance amending the Enid Municipal Code 2014, Title 5, Public Safety, Chapter 6, Minors, Article A, Tobacco and Vapor Products, Section 5-6A-1, Definitions, to add proof of age and standardized definitions, Section 5-6A-2, purchase or possession by minors of tobacco or vapor products, to clarify language, exception for minor employees, Section 5-6A-3, sell, give, or furnish tobacco or vapor products to minors, providing for repealer, savings clause, severability, and codification. Carol?
This is mostly a wording change. The police were concerned, and this is my fault. The police were concerned because we, in the Section 5-6A-2A, we merely said purchase, receive, or possess a tobacco product. In the title, it says tobacco or vapor products. I thought, when I looked at it, that all vapor products were involved with nicotine and tobacco. And that may have been the case initially, but it is not now. So I decided I better clarify and add or vapor product, because not all vapor products are involving nicotine or tobacco, particularly now. While I was doing that, I decided to look over state law, and all these other changes are just to make it more compatible with state law than it was before. And I'm afraid that I was a little bit behind on realizing that vapor products also utilized other substances.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Item 6.2, consider resolution amending the 2019-2020 airport fund budget by appropriating additional funds in the amount of $1.2 million to increase the 2019-2020 appropriated amounts for the airport department.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Item 6.3, accept a temporary construction easement of 800 square feet, more or less, from Ben and Stephanie Ezell, Enid, Garfield County, Oklahoma, for project number F-1907C, the 400 East Randolph Avenue North Boggy Creek Bridge Replacement Project. This is an easement that my wife and I are donating to the city at no cost. I will be abstaining from the vote for the obvious reason, but just wanted to note for the record that we're not receiving any kind of compensation aside from returning the property to the condition it's in when this project is done in sometime next decade.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you for your benevolence, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Thank you. Motion carries 5-1. Item 7, consent.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Item 8, recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. Trustees of the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting are present except for George Pankinen. Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting, item 10.1, consider to take action with respect to a resolution of the Enid Municipal Authority authorizing staff to prepay the outstanding amount of certain clean water SRF and drinking water SRF loans from the Oklahoma Water Resources Board, and/or to accept certain loan payment savings as proposed by the OWRB and containing other provisions relating thereto. Aaron?
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, OWRB notified us in December that they had refinanced a series of their notes. In that refinancing, there were 2 loans that we hold within there. They gave us 3 options for each of those loans. One was to take a portion of their savings from that refinancing up front for the March 2020 payment on each of those. The second option was to take the cost savings and interest over the life of the remaining maturity, and then the third option was to pay off the loan. I reviewed those options. I've also spoken with John Wolf at Municipal Finance Services about those options, and then had Public Finance Law Group weigh in, and they actually wrote the resolution that is before you tonight. Our recommendation is for the wastewater treatment plant loan that is due in 2032 to take option 1, which is taking the same maturity, but it will be a reduction of interest over the life of the loan of $315,461. The other loan is for the water towers, is due to pay off in March of 21, and our recommendation for that one is to go ahead and pay it off in full at this time. We'll save about $18,000 in interest by doing that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Reset.
Oh, sorry.
All those in favor, please indicate. Motion carries 6-0. Motion carries 5-1, with Rob abstaining. Item 10.2, approval of claims in the amount of $468,478.07.
Move to approve.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 6-0. Motion Adjourn to convene as the Enid Economic Development Authority. Trustees of the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting are present except for George Pankinen. Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting is in session. Approval of claims in the amount of $167,724.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. A motion carries 6-0. Item 14, we will adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. All trustees of the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting are present except for George Pankinen. EPTA regular meeting. Item 16.1, approval of claims in the amount of $2,685.62.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 6-0. We'll now adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Public comment. We have one person signed up to speak, Diane Levesque. If you'll please step up.
Diane Levesque, 1324 West Oak Avenue, and former content producer for Pegasus. So I guess I can start where I left off with my last comment about asking a particular question as to what is the P channel for. I got lucky in the parking lot. Mr. Bryce Kennedy Esquire was in the parking lot, and I'm pretty sure it'll be a he said, she said, I took something out of context, and yada, yada, you know, the usual excuses. But what he told me is that the P channel doesn't exist because Van Hooser said so. Now, of course, that's not on the record. I didn't have my camera rolling at the time. When I got my camera out, he skedaddled away quicker than anything. Well, anyway, by what authority can I comment on FCC matters? I will present my credentials right here. I have been an FCC license holder, and I'm a member of the audience. And when I sent in the amicus, when it was Pegasus versus the city, I had standing as the reasonable person. And that's the standard that all the entire judicial system is based on, but I also said I was a member of the audience. And Carol, I do believe you will find that on record, because you've been served, except it wasn't you, it was Andrea, okay? So I have knowledge of the FCC regulations because I'm required to. And Mr. Mason, you will find that if you have an outside organization trying to see who is FCC compliant, you will find that the city has been in violation since the institution of ETN, and that is entirely based on the deal that the FCC provides a P channel for public access, and the city has denied public access to the public ever since. Now, according to the newspaper report, somebody was reported as having said that Southern Link has a city over the barrel. It's been quite the opposite, because the PEG channels are part of the licensing. It's in the licensing provision 7-9B-9. So whereas the Enid licensing instrument says there's a P channel exists, and whereas there's a P channel that exists in the licensing provision, you are indeed covered by FCC regulations and the use thereof. Now, the FCC also says you have to use that channel for the purpose the FCC has ordered the cable company to provide it, and that is public access, education, and government. What you've done is taken two channels for government and given over a channel to the Enid Public Schools. And yet it's your purview, it's your responsibility to make sure that the person or entities that you hand over the responsibility to are compliant with FCC regulations. This is true for even the ham radio operator. The only exception for the ham radio license is that an unlicensed person can operate a ham radio licensed station In case of an emergency, there was no emergency with regards to the EPS handover, but that's not amateur radio regulation, that is cable operation regulation. So, of recent interest is the FCC report and order that became effective at the end of September 2019, where it said that whatever funding for the PEG channels that the city was demanding via its licensing instrument can be deducted from the franchise fee. That's new because I strongly suspect you're not the only municipality that tried to collect on PEG funding for a city benefit on top of the franchise fee. As of September 2019, that is no longer true, so I'm figuring that the December 4 pulling of the PEG plug that you guys did and going to YouTube had something maybe to do with that, but this is where the snag comes in with the report and order. You can't order Suddenlink to put YouTube on PEG channels because that's not public access, that's not governmental directly, and that's certainly not educational. And that does affect all 3 channels, including the one used by the EPS. So yeah, I'm basically throwing the book at you because I've got a new news announcement. I'm the newest member of the Alliance for Community Media as a former Pegasus content producer. That's a lobbying group that speaks directly.
Could you wrap it up now, please, Diane?
Yes.
Thank you.
This is the news that I have joined a lobbying group that directly lobbies the FCC for this, and I will bring all of that to their attention and make full uses of their resources.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Well, then I will.